carry out these requirements in your hematology, in your histopathology, in your biochemistry, in your serology, culture, for that you have to develop a system. You have to read references for that. In clause 3, you will find various terms and definitions. Previously, then there were clause 4 and 5. Now they have divided the requirements in 5 clauses. Same requirements in 5 clauses. Clause 4, general requirements. Clause 5, structure and governance requirement. Clause 6, resource requirement. Clause 7, process requirement. And clause 8, management system requirements. So now these requirements are divided in totality. Instead of 5 clauses, these are divided in 8 clauses. Now see, what is the difference between laboratories? All laboratories are working in the similar manner. Process is same. You are collecting samples after receiving requests. You are transporting, the samples are transported to laboratory, they are receiving, they are preparing aliquots if required, and they are sending to laboratory for testing. Before that, they are registering in the laboratory information system. They are performing tests, results are interpreted and reported. If there are any critical results which require immediate therapeutic intervention, these are immediately communicated to the clinician. I think all of you will agree with me. Process, flow of activity, sequence of activity are same in each and every laboratory. Small laboratory, large laboratory, microbiology laboratory, histopathology laboratory, sequence is same. Now, what is the difference when we say this laboratory is good laboratory, this laboratory not so good laboratory, and even if you are going for accreditation, this process will remain the same. See, what happens in a good laboratory, you have well-defined procedure at each step. How you will perform that activity, how you will collect sample, how you will transport sample, how these samples will be received in the laboratory, some aliquot preparation, how you will prepare, how these will be labeled. For each and every step, you have well-defined either a sub-process or a procedure. So this is the difference. In this, chances of errors are reduced. See, in pre-examination, again, this is a process. What are the steps? Examination ordering, specimen collection, specimen transport, then receiving sample in the laboratory. Sequence of activity are same, but how tests are ordered, how samples are collected. For this, if you have well-defined guidelines, then chances of errors are reduced. Similarly, in examination part, examination method selection, you are selecting a good method as per your requirement. You may feel manual culture is okay. You may feel automated culture is okay. Or in automated culture, in a particular organism, certain antibiotics, if these are resistant, must be tested again by the manual method, this diffusion method, Kirby-Brauer, or what is that other method? You are following that. You are performing test, you are reviewing result interpretation, everything is in a defined manner. Then you are communicating alert values to clinician, release a final result. Then what will happen to that specimen? For everything, you have a well-defined procedure or instructions. These are the internationally recognized quality system essentials for all type of industries. In medical laboratory also, we are following these quality system essentials, and these are documented for medical laboratory in this ISO 15189. Many of you must have attended this training program, ISO 15189. You must be knowing we are conducting internal audit, or many of you must be working in the accredited laboratory. Internal audit, we are managing our documents. What is document? Any useful information on any suitable medium is called document. We are maintaining records. What is record? Evidence of implementation of some activities, record. We are managing our personnels. We are managing our suppliers, inventory management. For these suppliers, you shall have selection criteria. You shall have evaluation criteria. In inventory, what all you are checking when you are receiving reagent, you're keeping record of all these things. When you're issuing reagent, whether a particular supply is acceptable to you or not, you're keeping a record of all these things. So for this, you have to create format. For this, you have to create the format. And formats you have to develop as per the requirement of your lab. It is more customer focus. Equipments are managed as per the requirement of ISO 15189. Non-conforming event management. Different processes, pre-examination, examination, post-examination. You require process for competency requirement. You need process for equipments, process for reagents, process for non-conforming event, process for complaint. So like that, different processes, because if your process is good, chances of errors are less. Facility, your laboratory collection area shall be maintained in such a manner. These are not adversely influencing the result, and adequate safety requirements are provided in the laboratory. And continually, time to time, you are looking at the activities of your laboratory, how we can further enhance these activities. Now see, what I want to emphasize upon, when people they think about this ISO 15189, they think we are implementing for NABL or other accreditation body. And these all clauses are separate. For this, we are hiring a consultant. That consultant will provide us a set of document, and then, or sometime what happens, they think this particular consultant is very good. They are providing people also. They are coming once in a month and they are filling all the formats. But do you think with that quality will be improved in the lab? No, not at all. We have to see what is the system in our laboratory and what clause need to be followed at various locations, so that ultimately we are able to enhance the quality of our laboratory. See, in pre-examination, advisory activity, what all tests need to be performed in a clinical situation, how a sample shall be collected, then pre-examination process. In examination, our examination process should be good, and we have to ensure validity of examination result. For this, what we are doing, we are participating in IQC, we are participating in EQUAS, and see, whatever we are discussing, all these things are important. I can understand. Many of you must be thinking, I will show you the format. This is how temperature need to be maintained. This is how IQC result need to be maintained. No, that is not the purpose of this discussion. That any consultant can provide you. What We want people able to understand the requirements of the standard, and they have to create formats as per the requirement of their laboratory for a particular clause. So this ability we need to develop. In post-examination, somebody may ask you about the interpretation, how you will release the result, to whom you will release the result, what all shall be the content of the report, or what are the other requirements related to report. All these things shall be addressed in a required manner. And to improve the quality of our laboratory services, what is required? How we are dealing with complaint, how we are dealing with non-conforming work, or if suppose accreditation body, maybe your NABL, NABH, some other accreditation body or some other regulatory body, they are raising some concern, some non-compliance, how you will address that? Regularly, we are looking for the improvement in our laboratory. We are evaluating various activities, and through participation in IQC and IQAS, we are claiming to clinician, to patient, that we are fulfilling the requirements of quality. You will get correct report, and that within reasonable time frame. For this, what is required? Our well-defined organizational structure. What are the authorities and responsibilities of various persons working in the laboratory? A service agreement between laboratory and users. That doesn't mean agreement on some stamp paper. They should understand what all the expectations from the laboratory and how these will be fulfilled. Regularly are interacting with your management review. What is their expectation from the laboratory? What are your requirements from the management? Those things are discussed. And what you need in your laboratory, a well-defined quality management system, as we discussed, as per ISO 15189. We shall have good document control. We will discuss about this and how we are maintaining various records in the laboratory. Suppose you are receiving 30 cases of histopathology every day. That means in a month you are receiving approximately 750 cases, because Sunday may be holiday, and in the year you are receiving 9,000 cases. So how you are maintaining all those slides, all those blocks, all those test request form, all those reports, so that if a patient is coming to you, they want some slide and block of 2-year-old case, you are able to get that. For all these things, what we need, people working in the laboratory, they have required education. Any training or experience required, they are fulfilling those requirements. And they are able to carry out a particular activity in a required manner. So for all these things, you have to maintain records. And you shall have a procedure also, how you will carry out this activity. Facilities and environmental condition, record need to be maintained. For lab equipment, you shall have a process. For certain things, you need to develop procedure. And you have to maintain certain records. Same is true for your reagents. Same is true for your externally provided products and services. You are receiving reagents from your vendors. You are buying certain services like your calibration lab, IQAS, and you're sending certain cases to a referral laboratory. All these shall be selected based on certain criteria, and they shall be evaluated for those criteria. Data information is very important. In your laboratory, you are maintaining so much data. This data shall be easily retrievable, and also you have to maintain confidentiality of patient information and maintain integrity of the data. You are not losing that data. In standard, you will find some terms. Some places it is using the must. Must means whether you are planning for accreditation or not. That is a secondary thing. If it is must, it is mandatory. Otherwise, it is punishable by law. See, fulfilling biomedical waste requirement. It is must. It hardly matters whether you are planning to go for accreditation or not. During COVID-19 still, it is mandatory to upload data on portal. Otherwise, it is punishable by. And you can perform test only when your laboratory is accredited. Private laboratory, private hospital, private medical college. These are must. Shall means it is mandatory as per standard. Standard is writing laboratory shall have this procedure. If you want to show compliance to this standard, then that is must. Should means there are many possibilities, but this is the preferred one. Standard at one place they are saying laboratory should use third-party control. So that means it is not must, but this is the preferred way. May means this is also an option. Very often we use these terms policy. Policy means intent of the organization. Your top management is saying our laboratory is required to go for accreditation. This is the policy statement. Your organization may say everyone is supposed to wear full sleeves lab coat. Then half sleeve is not allowed. This is from the top management. Policy always comes from the top management. So these are policy statements. And if you are documenting these in computer or you are creating hard copy, these are called policy documents. Whatever is written, that need to be followed. Process means sequence of activity. I will show you some process, so then you will get the idea. Process means sequence of activity, and process tell you what is to be done. And whenever we are saying we need to develop a process, this new standard is talking a lot about process. So when we are talking about process, what is to be done? For each step, detailed instructions are implied. In process, at each step, procedure or some detailing is implied. You have to develop that. So they will not say separately that procedure is required. At some place, for some activity, they are saying procedure is required. Procedure is stepwise way to carry out the activity. At places, they are saying record is required. Record is evidence of implementation of some activity. In this new standard, please, I am getting a lot of disturbance. They are saying specify. Specify means you have to mention. At one place they have written specify the qualification of lab director. Specify calibration requirement. That means what all equipments you are using, out of these, what all need calibration. These group of equipment need calibration by a calibration lab, which is accredited as per 17025 for the calibration of that equipment. And these need to be calibrated by manufacturer. This need to be calibrated once in 6 months. This need to be calibrated once in 12 months. You are specifying this. And when you are writing this, documented means this should be written somewhere, either soft copy or hard copy. Program means unrelated activities, when carried out together, they are serving some purpose, and this is called program. You are saying in our hematology analyzer, RBC chamber shall be cleaned daily. WBC chamber shall be cleaned daily. It shall be cleaned from outside. Startup procedure, shutdown procedure. So all these are unrelated activities, but when carried out together, this is called program of daily preventive maintenance. Like that. You are creating different forms. In the forms, information is captured at one time about a particular person or about a particular activity. Format means multiple information. Suppose we want to have name, phone number, email ID, and organization of each of you. We are circulating one sheet and you are filling that. Multiple people, they are filling their phone number, email ID, organization. For that, we are creating format. That is not form. So with that, there is uniformity in the information. Labels, they are for getting some information. They are for identification of some sample or document. See, this is the example of process. We will not go in the detail of this particular process, but what they are saying, suppose you want to develop a new process or you want to change a process. What will be the sequence of activity in your laboratory? So it is guiding you. If you feel something is not required in my laboratory, you can leave that. If you feel something else is required in between step 3 and 4, you can add one more step there. This is the process, sequence of activity. If you are able to define an activity through a process, chances of errors are reduced. And this is the international system of expressing a process. We always start with a oval box, then in between steps, these are rectangular boxes. And whenever this pentagon box is there, that means this process is not ending at this place. It will continue as a separate process. This is the international way of expressing a process, and at the end you again get a oval window when the process ends. Beginning and end is always with the oval window. In between you get rectangular window. Pentagon means it is continuing with other process, and diamond shaped means it has two options. So this is the universal way of expressing a process. Now in this, at the end, it is talking about validation and verification. Just for your understanding, I thought we will discuss this validation and verification. If you read the standard or any other book where this validation is defined, you will get confused. Why? Because it is explained in a confusing way. They say for validation, confirmation of plausibility for a specific intended use or application through provision of objective evidence that specified requirements have been fulfilled. And what they are writing in verification, confirmation through provision of truthfulness, through provision of objective evidence that specified requirements have been fulfilled. Both definitions are looking more or less similar to each other. Now, if any of you is pathologist or microbiologist, please unmute yourself if you are able to, or I will ask organizer to unmute any one person. Then I will little bit discuss with him. I will not ask any question. I will little bit discuss with him and I will explain this validation verification. So please unmute any one person whom you are able to identify. The person is pathologist or microbiologist, or even if person is from biochemistry department, that is also okay. Please unmute any one person. Please unmute any one person.
Participants.
Okay, Dr. Konudhalli, I will talk to you only. You are from the biochemistry department, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, suppose you want to develop one method for glucose estimation. You want to develop a new method for glucose estimation, and you are saying, and suppose you are developing this method with Dr. R. Sudha, you are saying we will call this as PR method for glucose estimation. Now, what is the specific intended use of this method? Estimation of glucose. Now, what you need to do, you will compare the result with GOD-POD method. You may compare the result with hexokinase method, right?
Yes, sir.
A range of samples, then you are saying this PR method is as good as GOD-POD method for the estimation of glucose. And whatever results you are getting, that is the objective evidence in favor of your claim, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
After that, if suppose you are claiming that this PR method is as good as GOD-POD method for the estimation of glucose, I think you are reasonable and this method is acceptable.
Yes,
so now
sir.
we have completed the whole definition. Confirmation of plausibility. Plausibility means reasonable or acceptable.
Yes,
For
sir.
specific intended user application, what was that? Estimation of glucose, maybe in plasma, and through provision of objective evidence that whatever results you got, that is objective evidence after fulfilling specified requirements. You have fulfilled the specified requirements also. So after that you are claiming. So what you have done? You have done validation. Now suppose some other person, maybe Dr. Adiba or Dr. Albert or Dr. Raghavendra Rao, if they think, okay, this method seems to be good, but first I will check in my laboratory. What they are doing, they are also comparing with GOD-POD, but they are also comparing with hexokinase. They are also developing objective evidence. If after this study, they are accepting this sample, what they are doing, they are confirming the truthfulness of your method before accepting that method in their laboratory. Are you getting my point? So what
Yes,
they are
sir.
doing, it is verification. So we have to understand, in validation, someone is claiming something. In verification, they are confirming the claim of someone else. This is the difference. Thank you. This is what I wanted to
Okay, sir.
tell you, validation, verification, because generally I find a lot of confusion in this understanding. Now see,
Thank you.
another process, blood sample collection. All of us are following this. For each and every step, this is saying what is to be done. Patient is identified. Where? In routine, OPD, in emergency. But how you will carry out this? How you will collect the sample? What are the different samples you are collecting? How you will collect? For this, you need procedure. How the samples will be labeled? What all information you will put on the sample? On this label. For this, you need further detailing. So now, for each and every step, Further details. What happens? Collection list or labels are generated. Who is responsible? These people are responsible. What is the procedure? You are defining procedure also. Whether this will be by this barcoding or some other way. Patient is identified. Who is responsible? What are the area where you need patient to be identified in different wards, OPD area, ICU, CCU? So they should know how they will identify the patient with CR number or date of birth or some identification mark, or they will collect some photo ID. So like that, you have to develop that. How you will collect the sample? Who all are responsible? What are different samples you are collecting? How these samples will be collected? How and who are responsible for the labeling? And what is the procedure? Because you may say, we will use barcoded labels, but in blood bank, labels shall be written by hand. These should be handwritten labels. So whatever system you are developing, you are writing that. How you are transporting, who are responsible, then how these will be transported, what are the guidelines you are following, what is the process of risk management. This is mentioned in the new standard in 5.6. Laboratory shall establish, document, implement, and maintain process for risk management. What is the meaning of process? You have to develop process like this. For risk management, here we are not going in the detail of each process. What I am trying to do, I am trying to eliminate certain confusion related to understanding what is the meaning of process. See, this is again a process. Related to your culture. This is again a process. If you want to create a new document or you want to make some change in the document, so it is not necessary you shall have all these steps in the process. I am just emphasizing on the point when we talk about process, what is the meaning of that? See, there are two options. They are diamond shaped. There are two options, diamond shaped. At this point, diamond shape, diamond shape, diamond shape. Here you have two options. See, process of complaint. How you will receive, what is the procedure you will develop, how you will investigate, how you will decide what action need to be taken. Then you are taking action, keeping record of that, and monitoring your action for its effectiveness. Personnel, qualification, training, vaccination, their competence. For this also you shall have a procedure. How you will carry out these activities, you have to write a procedure, and you have to keep record also of training, post-training, evaluation, competence assessment, some problem-solving skill, pre-analyze samples. You're observing how they are carrying out their day-to-day activity, how they are maintaining their equipment. Then they should get opportunity to develop their knowledge. For that, they are participating in CMA seminars, in different training programs. You're keeping certificate record. How these samples, test request form, you have to design test request form for your laboratory. Samples are collected in the correct container. So you have to define this sample shall be collected in this type of container, this sample shall be collected in this type of container. You are collecting sample following proper guidelines. So for that, you need to develop sample collection manual. How you will label that, how you will mix that, EDTA sample, coagulation tube, some other sample, some proper guidelines, how this sample shall be transported. For this, you have to define procedure, what all need to be checked, monitored, how you are receiving sample in the laboratory, what all need to be checked. For all these things, you have to develop guidelines and you have to keep record who has collected a sample, who has received a sample, and how a sample is transported. Reagents, what all you are checking when you are receiving in the lab, how you are storing, proper guidelines, how you are carrying out acceptance testing at the time of receiving a reagent, maybe some stain, maybe some qualitative test, maybe some quantitative tests. People call this as kit validation, kit verification, lot verification. But standard using for this term, lot acceptance testing, you use this term, lot acceptance testing. We said in the beginning, laboratory shall select good quality test method. For this, we have to understand these terms: diagnostic sensitivity, diagnostic specificity, positive predictive value, negative predictive value, test utility. What is diagnostic sensitivity? Out of 100 cases of a particular disease, in how many cases a particular test is negative, particular test is positive? If sputum for AFB is positive in 100 cases of pulmonary tuberculosis, it has 95% sensitivity. Diagnostic specificity, in how many cases, in how many persons who do not have a particular disease, a particular test is negative. If a test is negative, in 95 cases, in 95% out of 100 who do not have a disease, that means in 5 cases you may find false positive. That way, you have to see what is positive predictive value. If a test is positive, what is the possibility of having that disease? What is negative? Negative predictive value. If a test is negative, what is the possibility of not having that disease?
అయ్యో Please excuse us. Sir will be joining within a minute. There is some network issue. Sir will be joining.
Kindly wait for few minutes. The speaker will be joining us now. We regret the technical inconvenience. Thank you all. The speaker will be joining us shortly. Please wait. Yes, he's having some technical issues. Please wait. Thank you all.
Right, now it is okay. Okay, sorry. All these technologies, they have certain advantages, but they have certain limitation also. If we are face to face, there are certain limitations. Everyone cannot participate from different part of the country, but there is advantage. But if online, many people can participate, but there are certain issues. Okay, so we discussed this test selection. Now suppose you are installing a new machine. You want to compare result with your already existing machine. Now please write in the chat box, am I clearly audible? What is required? You are comparing result of two machines. In ideal situation, you are getting line at 45 degree. But if suppose you are getting this faint line, little higher than this ideal situation, that means consistently you are getting higher result with this new machine. Or if this difference is increasing with increasing concentration, this difference is increasing with increasing concentration, this is called systematic proportional error. Higher value systematic constant error may be with a particular difference, a per line parallel to this lower side, again it is systematic constant error, but if difference is increasing with increasing concentration, this is called systematic proportional error. And if values, some value high, some values are low, so those are random errors. If you are buying new equipment selection should be good. Ask company people to come to your laboratory to check the space is okay, no dust is there. So they may say more sockets are required. They may say online UPS is required. There may be some earthing problem. You are taking care of all those things. They may say deionized water plant is required. Then how much technical training is required? Clarity and usefulness of instruction manual, linearity, maximum value which you can report without dilution, precision, how close results are to each other when you're testing multiple times, carryover. A low value sample is not affected by previously run high value sample. You're comparing with already established method, you're participating in a class and comparing result with that. Analytical sensitivity, what is the minimum difference which you're able to appreciate? You may be having 3 glucose testing machine. One is providing the result 230, 240, 250. Another is providing 231, 232, 233. Third is providing 230.1, 230.2, 230.3. So this minimum difference which machine is able to appreciate is analytical sensitivity. And this machine is estimating that and light only. Nothing else is measured with this, like nucleated RBCs are measured with TLC in 3-part differential. It is not specific for TLC. Analytical time, how much time machine is taking to test one sample. Throughput time, if machine is taking one sample to test 1 minute, that doesn't mean in 1 hour it will test 60 samples. May need some washing, may need some rest. See throughput time also, in how many tests you are able to perform in 1 hour or 2 hours. Cost per test, it is not only reagent cost. You have to see it includes your control cost also, it includes your washing cycle also, it includes your AMC or CMC also, cost of the machine. So that way you have to test how you are maintaining these equipments, daily maintenance, weekly maintenance, monthly maintenance, preventive maintenance by the manufacturer. You are taking official AMC or CMC. These are the different areas which we discussed, where we can go wrong. We have to be vigilant at each and every step because the laboratory has a lot of scope for the error. We have to reduce all these possibilities. We have to be very vigilant at each step. For this, we prepare various procedure manuals. Your management system document. Actually, there was some confusion whether a quality manual is required or not. I don't know how this this confusion happened because standard is very clear. You have to create a management system document. It is mentioned in your clause 8.2. They have not mentioned this term quality manual. They are saying all document which you are creating that should be referenced to your management system document. Whether you are calling that as quality manual or management system document, it is up to you. And they have not specified the content also of this document. It is decided by the laboratory. The laboratory is flexible in this. But remember one thing, quality manual has not been abolished by the standard. It is still required. You need to develop sample collection manual, your process for examination, pre-examination activity. You have to develop procedure for various clause wherever standard is asking, and at many places standard is written, laboratory shall have a procedure. So when it is written, it is laboratory shall have a procedure. Now some people they are saying, oh, procedure is required, but it need not to be written, need not to be documented. See, documentation is implied. If you will not write, how you will implement this? If you are reading CLSI document, they are writing. If it is procedure or process, it is implied that shall be written. Some people are getting confused. The quality manager is not required. They have written clearly in 5.4.2, laboratory shall define personnel who, irrespective of other responsibilities, they will take care of quality management activities. You are calling that person as quality manager, quality officer, quality director, CEO of quality. That is your decision. But standard has not removed the requirement of anything. Then you are preparing standard operating procedure for various tests, which you will perform. Now, what they have done, they have removed the points. In each and every test, you have to write about these points. They are saying whatever you feel. There is flexibility. Previously, you are required to address all those points. If suppose some point is not valid, you are supposed to write NA, not applicable. But now you can develop, you can as per your requirement. Same is true for your process. You are developing one lab safety manual, fire safety, chemical safety, needle stick injury, hand hygiene, biomedical waste management, spill management. You are writing all these things in lab safety manual. You may prepare a list of all documents, a list of different activities like list of minor equipment, list of approved supplier and service provider, who are authorized for using computer. This is the requirement of your clause 6.2.3 as well as 7.6.2. List of various terms which you are using. It is not 1589 requirement, but it is good practice. You need directory of services, what all tests you are performing, how you will collect the samples, list of staff, preventive maintenance, schedule of major equipment, who are authorized to sign final, your list of referral laboratory, list of test and measuring equipment, stock available, list of test parameter in the accreditation scope, minimum stock level which you are defining. So this will help you in carrying out various activity in a required manner. Document control means how you're taking care of all the documents. So I will not read this complete. This is mentioned in CLSI document GP2A5. They say कि you shall have good control over your documents. Whatever documents you are creating, you are saying we will not allow photocopy. For that, you are ensuring misuse. You are removing the misuse of any of the document. You are saying we will uniquely label all documents. With this, what you are doing, you are keeping good control over all the documents. Ki only these are allowed to make a change. All documents will be issued only after approval. So all these things are mentioned in the standard under clause 8.3. You can read this. You can read this CLSI document also, GP2A5 for detail. What I showed you, what I wanted to show you this slide, you get the idea. It is 1:09. We have to read much more for the better understanding. All forms and formats shall be prepared by authorized person, issued by authorized person, and after approval by authorized person. And we are writing name and address of laboratory on each form and format, and also unique identification of that particular document. See, what you need to develop. Prepare a table of this type for the new standard. And read from the standard where a standard is asking for a process. Put a tick mark there. Where a standard is asking for a procedure. Put a tick mark there. Where a standard is asking for a record. Put a tick mark there. And whether it is process or it is procedure or it is record, it need to be written either on the paper or on the computer. When you are writing, that means either you are keeping soft copy or hard copy. What you are creating, all these are useful information. You are creating document, and way of creating document is documentation. So process is documentation, procedure is documentation, and record is also documentation. So you have to read this standard very carefully and find out where the standard is asking for a particular type of document. At many places you will find standard is not asking for a process, procedure, or record, but it is asking you specify something, specify the qualification of lab director, or delegation of the duties shall be documented. Delegation duty of lab director shall be documented, or responsibilities of lab director shall be documented. So that means these things are not process, procedure, record, but you have to note down somewhere. So that way you have to make a table like this, and you have to identify each clause, whether a process is required, or a procedure is required, or a record is required. So you have to read whole standard, because this is a complete 3-day program. So this cannot be completed in one lecture. So what I mean to say, you have to put some efforts. You have to find out from the standard what I explained in the beginning, wherever standard asking for a process or a procedure or a record, or if it is asking you to specify something, it is asking you to document something, it is asking you to specify or they are saying it shall be documented, or they are asking for some program like orientation program or program of preventive maintenance, program of different CMEs. So for all these things, these shall be noted down somewhere, either soft copy or hard copy. So when you will read this standard again and again, so you will develop better understanding of this standard. So you develop this table like this and note down this. And this organizers, they are recording this lecture, so they can share the link with all the participants. So you can go through this table again and you will find the solution. Right? Now, any question? Please. Either organizers can unmute the person or you can ask in the chat box. See what is required. In this standard, you have more flexibility. There are 2-3 slides, then we will take the question. We have more flexibility to decide how we will fulfill the requirement. There is more emphasis on risk management and continual improvement. Sometimes we can have full lecture on this risk management because this is a big topic. But it is more challenging for accreditation assessors. Why it is challenging? Because they have to change their thought process. And this is an ongoing process. You cannot say now we have achieved the quality, now nothing more is required. You have to improve your quality, then you have to think again, then you can further improve your laboratory activity, laboratory quality. See, ultimately as a laboratory person, what we are doing, we are delivering information, which clinicians are using in the diagnosis and treatment of patient. Because any test, it has either diagnostic importance or prognostic importance or therapeutic importance, or maybe for some research. All these written policies, procedures, these are documents, they need to be updated and maintained. Records, information captured in the process do not require updating. We need a good document control program, use only most current versions. And these documents shall be available to laboratory people so that they can read, they can understand. So this shall be accessible to them. See, information is our product. We are providing information. Documents are essential for stability and consistency in laboratory. Always remember, this quality is a journey without any destination. And never think it is burden on you. We have to prepare so many documents. We have to learn so many new things. How we will carry out. See, many laboratories all across the globe, they are following this. And it is possible with the cooperation of each and everyone working in the laboratory. Yesterday only, you must have watched that India-Bangladesh match. It was not possible for Kohli to hit that century in the last without the cooperation from KL Rahul. We can improve, we can go ahead with the cooperation of each and everyone, right? So, good luck to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And this is my-
Thank you, sir. A lot of questions have been posted in the chat box, sir.
So now I am seeing all these questions. So,
Read out.
uh,
Read out.
So first question,
yeah.
is it necessary to periodically check AMR or linearity of a test in clinical biochemistry, even if I use same equipment and calibrator or the reagent without any change? If
See-
needed,
Yes.
what is the
required.
frequency?
It is required once in 12 months. You can check linearity again. Why it is required? Because there is wear and tear in the equipment. Previously, whatever linearity it was providing you, there may be some change in the linearity. So once in 12 months, you test this linearity. Yes. What else?
Thank you, sir. Next question, sir. What is the logic of split sampling as a QC measure, especially when we are using auto analysis to test a parameter?
No, can you repeat the question?
What is the logic of split sampling as a QC measure, especially when we are using auto analyzers to test a parameter?
See, standard requirement is you have to participate in proficiency testing for each and every test which we are performing in your laboratory. Suppose it is urine routine. You are examining one slide yourself and you are asking your 3 or 4 technical staff to prepare slide and report or report their observation. So with that, you are happy, yes, they have required proficiency in the performance of that particular test. Not always automation, because but in automation also this is required if there is difference.
Thank you, sir. Another question. Why copy IFUs and put them as SOPs in our manuals? Instead, we can as well file the kit inserts. There's a question, sir. Why copy information for use and put them as SOPs in our manuals? Instead, we can as well file the kit inserts.
Please read the question again, because I was not able to unmute, so I was concentrating on that.
Yes, sir. I repeat, sir. Why copy IFU information for use and put them as SOPs in our manuals? Instead, we can as well file the kit inserts.
Yes, you can file the kit insert also, and whatever additional information you want to incorporate in that SOP, you can do that. That is also acceptable.
Thank you, sir. Another question. Do we need to file all daily reports from machine?
You can keep soft copy also, but whatever report you are releasing, you have to keep them for any future reference for a defined period. If you are defining something, it is okay. If accreditation body is defining something, you have to follow that. Soft copy or hard copy, both are acceptable. It is not necessary to keep hard copy.
Thank you, sir. Another question. Is linearity, as you mentioned, is mandatory or optional?
It is mandatory. Once in 12 months, you have to perform this linearity. It is not optional, because this linearity, carryover, precision, so you are checking with controls, but these things also shall be checked in quantitative analyzers.
Thank you, sir. Another question. Should calculated parameters be included in EQUAS?
I think in EQUAS, they are not providing you calculated parameter. They are only providing you analyzed parameters.
Thank you, sir. I request the chairperson, Another question from the chat box, sir. As you said, kit inserts we can keep, so that does that mean that SOP is not required at all?
No. SOP is required. Kit insert is then your SOP. And whatever additional information, suppose as kit insert is not telling you how to collect the sample. That is also one part. How many controls you will run, how frequently you will run. These are not mentioned in the kit insert. So people who are working in the laboratory, they must be knowing this thing. Kit insert is not providing you all the information.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Another question. Is CRR verification mandatory? And where we can find the CRR verification protocol?
What is CRR?
Dr. V.R. Madhavi, ma'am has asked this question, sir. Is
No, but-
CRR verification mandatory?
No, I want to know what is CRR.
Dr. Madhavi, please
Clinical
unmute
reportable
yourself.
range. Yes, this is mandatory. It is not required to establish clinical reference range. It is required to establish. You can take 30 samples and calculate mean and standard deviation and see that mean plus minus 2 standard deviation is coming in that range, whatever you are using from any reference. And copy of that reference shall be available.
Thank you, sir. Another question. If the QC values are within the range, but deviated more from the mean, how can we rectify it?
No, how it is possible? If QC value is within the range, but deviated from the mean value, that means precision is there, but there is problem in the accuracy. They have to see this may be because of some calibration error or deterioration of the reagent.
Thank you, sir. One more question. How to address the calculated clinical chemistry for PT?
How to address?
How to address calculated clinical chemistry for PT?
What is PT?
Proficiency testing, sir.
I'm not getting this question. How to calculate? Please repeat the question again. How to address calculated clinical chemistry for proficiency
The
testing?
participant can unmute themselves and ask the
No,
question
ma'am, I got this. If suppose
so
analyze
that there's a
analyze
clarity into what
parameters
they
are
exactly
okay,
want.
then it is assumed that this calculation is also okay. Only thing you have to check the calculation. There is no error in the calculation.
Thank you, sir. The last question. What is the corrective action of EQUAS?
See, this is in itself a complete lecture. So we will conduct this complete lecture at some other time. In this, that we will include IQC and EQUAS. In this quantitative EQUAS, you have to follow Z-score or what is that standard deviation index. It is the same thing.
Sir, one more question from Dr. Swati Goyal. So, can auditor ask raw data of machine if all QCs and EQUAS are within range?
See, it is not the requirement of the standard. You are asking for raw data. But this is the practice which most of the people are following in India. So everybody is asking for raw data. But it is not mandatory to maintain the raw data because it is not we are not playing some thief police sort of thing. It is the voluntary decision of the laboratory. But if accreditation body is suggesting in their specific criteria, the laboratory has to maintain raw data, then it is mandatory. Otherwise, it is nowhere it is written in the standard. You need to maintain raw data.
Thank you, sir. One more question from Dr. Padmavati. Do we require EQUAS for indirect bilirubin?
See, in bilirubin, we are only estimating bilirubin total and bilirubin conjugated. Unconjugated, we are subtracting total from and conjugated from total. So for that, no equals is required. That is a calculated parameter.
Thank you, sir. There's a question from J. Bhargavi. What is corrective action for EQUAS if reticulocyte count out?
See, these are questions when we will discuss EQUAS, then this will be discussed in detail. If EQUAS is out, so that means EQUAS for reticulocyte count is out, so they have to see, they have to review the slide again. Why everyone is saying suppose EQUAS close to 2% and you are getting 6%, maybe some problem in the staining or some other thing, some problem in the observation.
Thank you, sir. Another question from Dr. Nandvikar. What should be the percent CV criteria for ELISA?
What should be the
Percent CV criteria for ELISA? Percent coefficient criteria for ELISA?
Aston means?
Percentage, sir.
It's a percentage CV criteria. No, with time it should decrease. There is no term like this is criteria, it should be less than this only. Suppose there are two laboratories. In one laboratory, percentage CV is 3%. In another laboratory, it is 7%. Now, suppose after 2 months, both laboratories, they have CV percent 5. For first laboratory, this is not happy situation. For other laboratory, this is happy situation. With time, it should decrease. It should not increase.
Thank you, sir. Another question from Naresh. What is the importance for NABL documentation QC raw data or LJ chart?
See, LJ chart is important. Otherwise, how you will see whether the result is acceptable or not? This is important. Raw data is not important, but preparing LJ chart is important in your quantitative.
Thank you, sir. Another question from Kaushik. What is the change in 15189-2022 from 2012 for document list by accreditation, which remains same and created new?
See, now forget about 2012. Forget that. You see what are the requirements of 2022. We have shared that list with you. Share the link with them. They can find out the documents. So what are the document need to be prepared as per new standard? Okay, I think now we have discussed a lot. So now we will discuss in some other session. Most of the points we have already discussed. So there is no end of question or no end of discussion, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We would like to honor the guest speaker, Professor Dr. Neeraj Jain, as a token of love and appreciation.
Thank you very much, sir, for consenting to our invitation instantly and gracing the occasion. And your talk was really very much enlightening, and many of our doubts have been clarified. But as you told, we have to conduct another session on EQUAS for completeness of this program.
Definitely.
Now we would like to felicitate you with one memento, sir, online. So we'll be sending you the memento through courier, sir. So now, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. And you can arrange some other program maybe after 1 month or so, and you will get the feedback from the participants.
Sure.
Depending on their requirement, we can plan something next
Yes,
month.
sir. So we all got clarity into how to tabulate the different clauses, sir. and so many things which you gave real clarity into the terminologies, how to use the terminologies, and the policy, process, procedure, and form, different components of the quality system. We got an overall idea, sir. And with this sensitization, I think we will conduct more programs in future for completeness, complete understanding, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you all the participants, thank
request-
you all the organizers for this wonderful opportunity and your patience and listening. Thank you.
Vote of thanks, Solana.
I request Dr. Priya K. Das, Assistant Professor, Department of Biochemistry, to deliver the vote of thanks.
இப்போ 273 participants இருக்காங்கல்ல.
இருக்காங்க சார். எனக்கு
Dr. Jinsi. Good afternoon to all. On behalf of the Department of Biochemistry, Vinayaka Missions, Kribananda Warrior Medical College and Hospital, Salem, I take immense pleasure Thank you, Dr. Jinsi. Good afternoon to all.
Not audible.
Good afternoon to all. On behalf of the Department of Biochemistry, Vinayaka Missions, Kribananda Warrior Medical College and Hospital, Salem, I take immense pleasure in proposing vote of thanks for the ECME on lab documentation as per ISO 15989/2022. First of all, I would like to express my profound gratitude to a respected Dean, Professor Dr. K. Edilvendan, for the motivation and constant support offered to us. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the Deputy Dean, Professor Dr. Deepti Shastri, for inaugurating the program and delivering the inaugural address. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Medical Superintendent, Professor Dr. Ranga Bhashyam, and Director, Hospital Development Committee, Dr. E.M.J. Karthikeyan, for the guidance and support offered to us. I thank sincerely and express my heartfelt gratitude to the distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Neeraj Jain, Managing Director, Jain Diagnostics, President, MILAP, and Association of Practicing Pathologists, for accepting our invitation and sharing our knowledge and expertise with us on the essentiality of quality system in clinical laboratory and the transition of ISO from 20122 to 2022. And the explanation given on validation and verification was awesome. And I once again thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your valuable insights. I thank Professor Dr. Punnadali, HOD of Biochemistry, for the welcoming address and organizing the event meticulously. I also thank Professor Dr. Vijay Chamundeshwari for introducing the speaker. I thank all the participants without whom this event would not have been possible. We are overwhelmed with joy and thankfulness for all who have shown keen interest to be part of this ECME and for your active participation. We also thank Dr. Jinsi, third year PG, for comparing the session, and also thank all the faculty members, postgraduates, and the technical assistant for the support rendered for the successful conduction of the program. I once again thank everyone to make this ECME a memorable one. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I thank all the participants for their active participation. Thank you all.
Thank you all once again. Sir, you can share your contact details. Many of them are asking. Once again, you can share it, sir, so that they can note it down, your mail ID and phone number, sir. Okay, thank you all once again for having participating in this ECME. Any further queries you have, you can always contact us through mail or through the WhatsApp group. Thank you. We have posted a feedback link. You please fill it up and send it to us. and you'll all be receiving e-certificates in the next 3 days time. Thank you.